Hello, and this video will be about the UnEssay Project, or the traditional essay project. Once again, I am Adam Powley, and this is History 205, American History Through Pop Culture. I want to take just a couple of moments to talk about the UnEssay Project because it is a little unconventional. When I built the class, I was looking for a final project that would reflect the creative nature of the content. I do believe that pop culture is important to understanding of people at a given time. I think that if we treat pop culture like a primary source, then we can learn a lot about the cultures and the attitudes of a prevailing time period. The UnEssay Project is a way to get you to examine those sources while not forcing you to write a traditional 5x5 essay. The traditional essay project is an option. If you'd like to write a traditional essay, that's fine. It will be graded a little bit differently, but it'll still be worth the same amount overall. So the UnEssay Project is a creative endeavor. What you're going to do is think about this comment here. You're going to select a year or a small range of years. So maybe the year is 1968. Maybe it is the Carter administration, which would be a 4-year period. Anything from, say, the 1940s and World War II to the modern era, really. And I want you to then take that information and you're going to tell me how the pop culture of that period relates to one of our core themes. And we have 4 core themes, and we are going to be dealing with these core themes, one in each week, I think starting with week 11. It's race and gender reform, international conflicts, industrialization and American capitalism, and power and politics. Now, you don't have to write a traditional essay on this, but if you are going to write a traditional essay, your traditional essay is going to accomplish the same thing. You're going to look at a small range of years, examine the pop culture of that period, and then relate that pop culture back to one of these themes. Now again, just to read this a little bit here so you can hear it, the class is designed around pop culture, and the major project should allow you to demonstrate the learning outcome using the creative nature of the subject. The UnEssay has a few requirements, but is very flexible in order to fit the interests and skills of each student. I want you to be creative with this. I want you to think about your major. I want you to think about what interests you, and I want to think about what talents you have. If you are good with, carpentry, I would love to see something like that. If you are good at making documentaries or building websites, that's fine as well. If you enjoy writing graphic novels and cartoons, that's fine. If you can write music, if you design video games, if you are a marketing major and want to create a marketing campaign for a particular movie or theme in a movie, that'd be really interesting. I really want to have this be open to you so that you can take it in the direction that you would like. There are a few requirements. Let me talk about the requirements first, and then I'm going to show you what the rubric looks like so that you can start to think about what you hope to accomplish. The first requirement is that you should focus on a year or short range of year. 1964 or 1980 to 1984, the first term of Reagan's administration. Then think about the topic and how that topic examines the core theme within that range. So for example, in 1964, you might be examining the theme of race and gender reform, and you could investigate pop culture references to the Civil Rights Act. Or 1980s and 1984, you might think about power and politics. And investigate punk rock reaction to Reagan's election. And there's a lot of stuff about Margaret Thatcher in there too, the rise of conservatism. So the investigation is going to start with the year and then think about a topic within those years, and then how is that topic going to tie into the themes. There are some minimum sources, and if you get my approval, I'm willing to be flexible on that as well. I'm looking for at least one piece of music, at least one film reference, at least one visual piece of art, and that could be a comic book, a graphic novel, a painting, a photograph, one newspaper or magazine article. If you're thinking about newspaper articles, you can probably find a bunch of those. At least one work of fiction. It could be a book, short story, poem. It doesn't have to be a full book that you'd have to read, but something that you can refer to. And 3 secondary sources. So A through E are primary sources, something created during the time period that refers back to the time period. Secondary sources are something written after the fact. So it could be a journal article. It could be something from JSTOR. It could be from a book. I'm going to refer you to Scars That Bind, which is about Vietnam. That's a secondary source about films from the early 1980s. You will need to buy a bibliography. The UnEssay itself does not need to have references within the UnEssay. For example, if you're writing a song, I don't want you to stop every 10 seconds and refer to something in the music. But at the end, I should be able to see how the sources have informed the creation of the project, and I want you to list those in a bibliography. That way I can see what you've researched, and I can see how it connects back into the UnEssay project. You should alphabetize the bibliography, but that's some basic MLA style formatting. I'm not too concerned with the style of the bibliography. If you're used to MLA format, that's fine. Historians typically use Chicago or Tiberian style formatting. And the last thing I want you to do is provide a brief explanation, no more than a page or so, so less than 500 words, just explaining how the project connects to the theme. You could also have an alternative on this. You could create a 2-minute recorded explanation, either video or audio, that can be submitted along with the UnEssay project. Now, the UnEssay is also going to be displayed digitally. And I want you to consider that when you're thinking about your project. But if you want to build something physical that you can then do some sort of a video walkthrough of what you've created, that's fine. If you are doing some sort of a website and you want to do a screencast like I'm doing here, I can certainly help you with that. That would be fine as well. We're going to display these during finals week. Instead of having a final exam, that display is going to count towards the final exam. If you have questions on the UnEssay or what it's going to look like, please let me know, and I'd be happy to work with you. By the end of week 2, you're going to settle on a proposal. Either propose your traditional essay or the UnEssay project, a rough topic, and what you think it's going to end up looking like. What is it that you think you're going to create? Now, the rubric itself is sort of generic. The idea of an UnEssay comes from Emily Susan Clark. You can see a link to it there at the bottom. It's ranked on an A, B, C, D level. An A project is going to constitute a critical and active engagement with the course material, shows insight and creativity, demonstrates time and effort devoted to creating something thoughtful. I want you to think about how the medium of the work is designed and polished, so I want something that looks nice, that's well done. The structural and formal elements of the product serve the core concept of the UnEssay, so this means that the topic makes sense with what you've created. So if you're looking at graphic novels of Neil Gaiman's graphic novel The Sandman, and how that deals with the fears of the 1990s or something, I want it to make sense. Maybe you are finding a long lost chapter, right? The UnEssay should add to the conversation somehow. The UnEssay should also include a clear and insightful connection to the theme. I want us to see your 3 choices and reflect on the thesis. I'm sorry, 3 choices there probably is not correct. How it ties in with the years, and how the topic ties in with your core theme. A B paper, you can read that there, and a C paper. These are all available on, this is available as the UnEssay Project guidelines on the Moodle page. Since we've already touched on the traditional essay topic, this is the traditional essay as well. Again, you're going to be using the same concept. You're trying to select a year. You're going to select how that pop culture relates to a core theme. So you're going to need a topic there as well. And this is the rubric that I'll be using to score the traditional essays? This is much more of a traditional rubric because it's less creative work. I want to see that you have a central purpose and focus. There should be analysis. There should be evidence. I want to see how well it's organized. I want you to have quality of writing. The quality of the writing and the organization are only worth 20%, so just please note that I'm really focusing here on the analysis and the evidence that you're using, so make sure you have that bibliography that goes along with it as well. And again, the UnEssay project, I'm really excited about this. The traditional essay, I'm really excited about this as well. So if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know and I will be glad to get back to you on that.